Today, Sony experiments with dynamic pricing, hoping everyone will forget how badly they fumbled K-pop Demon Hunters. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint. Do you like my new runner shell? I just had it extruded special.
Ha ha! Yes, Graham, it is I, the skin you refer to as Beej.
I was making a joke about marathon.
Is that a joke that I, the one you know as Beej, would find amusing?
Yeah?
Ha! 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 Ha!
Okay, here are some quick points. Nintendo of America is suing the U.S. Treasury, the Department of Homeland Security, and Customs and Border Patrol. However, it's because they want to be paid back, with interest, the money that Nintendo was charged as a result of Trump's illegal tariffs. Nintendo is not suing because the White House used a Pocopia meme generator to make a shitpost. These things are not legally related. The karmic connection, however, is enormous.
Capcom's infamous social media poster Hideki Kamiya jokingly pondered if Resident Evil 9's forthcoming DLC could include a not scary mode in which the zombies get all cute, the blood splatters turn into cherry blossom petals, the music becomes this upbeat feel-good kind of tune, and you can just purely enjoy the puzzles and battles in a fun mood. Sounds like a great idea, Kamiya, but if you really want to solve a Resident Evil 9 problem, help me solve the mystery of who shit my pants while I tried playing it.
Valve is being sued by the state of New York over the way it handles loot boxes and how player patterns of repeatedly spending for the random chance of a rare result is quintessentially gambling. Valve doesn't agree. Quote, generations have grown up on opening baseball card packs and blind boxes and bags and then trading and selling the items they receive, said a Valve statement found hurtling towards the point.
Pocket Game, the studio behind the soon-to-be-released Pikmin, may have kicked off a new era of wealth and accomplishment for Nintendo's lawyers. Finished replaying Scarlet and Violet and Breath of the Wild? Now you can do both at the same time with guns!
According to Sega's latest financial Q&A, the developer said their recent games being highly reviewed by critics did not translate into increased sales for those titles. We here at Loading Ready Run have nothing but sympathy for our siblings at Sega as fellow creators of high-quality media that is enjoyed by too few people. Even if the fans that we do have are all very sexy and cool.
Aww. The National Video Game Museum recently tweeted that they've added something rare to their collection, something they're calling the Nintendo PlayStation, which is silly because, come on, PlayStation is a little on the nose of a name for an advanced video system. Anyway, let's have a look at what was supposed to be the future of home entertainment in the year 1990 whatever. Huh. That's... Sorry, did they think people would buy this? That doesn't really look like a console. That looks more like what my grandpa would have spent 3 months making out in his workshop as a gift for my birthday. And yes, my grandpa was a really sweet guy. Thank you. What exactly is even going on in these pictures anyway? Were they going to take the guts of a Super NES and somehow weld them to a CD-ROM drive? They tried that once and this was the result, and at least that looks like something you'd call a Nintendo PlayStation. I'm expecting this is going to show up in 3 months on Temu as another one of those 801 pirate game consoles, or as a replacement shell for a PS5.
Electronic Arts has laid off staff at the 4 development houses constituting Battlefield Studios, with an unknown number of employees losing their jobs. Battlefield Studios had a rough 2025, with flagship title Battlefield 6 selling a disappointing 7 million units in its first 3 days, falling well short of the hoped-for 3 trillion copies that would be necessary to capture the entire global economy and secure all money in the universe. In a terse release late last year, EA discussed the troubled title, saying, quote, Battlefield 6 now has the biggest opening ever in the storied Battlefield franchise. Battlefield 6 hit all-time highs for franchise sales during the first 3 days of launch, and that, quote, the game had over 172 million matches played online and accumulated over 15 million hours watched on streaming services during the 3-day weekend, as well as earning the most concurrent players for Battlefield ever. Disappointing. In a statement to IGN, an EA spokesperson explained that the layoffs come as part of an attempt to, quote, better align our teams around what matters most to our community. That's kind of vague. What matters most to their community? Well, a Gallup poll of Americans found that the government/poor leadership was the most important problem facing the country today. So if EA wants to align their teams to solve that one for everybody, we here at Checkpoint didn't see shit. EA's statement continues, saying, quote, Battlefield remains one of our biggest priorities. Their biggest priority, though, clearly being their upcoming acquisition by the consortium of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners, run by cursed ventriloquist dummy Jared Kushner.
Sony's PlayStation Store has been experimenting with dynamic pricing since November of last year, according to a report from the sales tracking website PS Prices. The experiment spans over 70 regions and includes almost 200 different games. Most of the dynamic pricing involves discounts of varying amounts up to a maximum of 27.8%. But there have been a few price increases as well. Also notably increasing is my blood pressure as I attempt to finish reading the story without throwing my ceramic mug into the preview monitor. Look, dynamic pricing has one acceptable use case, and that's discounted BC Ferries tickets for anyone able to travel on a Wednesday morning. Every other time we hear these words, it's nothing but boiling blood at the ridiculous cost of ride shares on New Year's Eve or accommodations during the touristy high season. You don't have to do this, Sony. There's lots of other good reasons people might hate your company. Number one...
Just stick to the story.
PS Prices claims their system, quote, detected unusual offer structures containing experiment identifiers in PlayStation API responses. But those program identifiers were only offered to some users selected by Sony. After sifting through their data, PS Prices concluded that Sony has been running a large-scale A/B pricing test on the player base since November, and as of this month, these tests now include the US market. Sony is not only offering these dynamic discounts on its own games, but also games from other major publishers like 2K, Rockstar, and Bethesda. The games in question include highly rated titles like Ghost of Tsushima, God of War Ragnarok, and Helldivers 2, along with up-and-coming pioneers of gaming like Beauty Clicker 2 and Drunken Bar Fight VR. Sony has yet to make any public comment about this program, but speaking as curmudgeons, CheckPoint would like to surmise that the first goal is to get everyone used to having no idea what games should cost. With that out of the way, it should be relatively easy for them to charge exactly as much as everyone can possibly afford to buy GTA 6. P.S. I hate it here.
On a societal level, we're already having trouble affording bread, and in the latest attack on the circuses portion of the social contract, Fortnite is raising prices. A post on the official Fortnite blog lays out the changes in pricing to V-Bucks following a statement that reads, in its entirety, the cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot and we're raising prices to help pay the bills. Now, before you leap to vilify Epic for using the language of someone working at a much smaller scale, I'll be doing that shortly. But first, the changes themselves. Essentially, you're getting fewer bucks for your bang. The $8.99 V-Bucks pack that used to yield 1,000 V-Bucks now gives you 800, which of course is the new exact amount to buy the Battle Pass, which no longer awards V-Bucks itself unless you finish the Battle Pass, in which case you get your 800 V-Bucks back. So what has spurned on this 20% reduction in currency for already overpriced cosmetics? Hell if we know, Epic's doing fine. Apart from settling their case with Google and agreeing that neither Epic nor Tim Sweeney specifically can disparage Google anymore, they've been pretty chill, quietly earning gross revenue of over $6 billion in 2025. And now they're raising prices to pay the bills? $6 billion in revenue. You don't have bills. You have operating costs. You don't have a landlord, Epic. Pay your own bills. Fuck off.
I didn't know we could legally make billionaires shut up. Can we expand this pilot program?
Ooh, careful. If we get all the billionaires to stop saying stupid shit, people might forget why we hate them.
Coming up, LEGO releases a new Mario Kart set rated 18+, because when you step on one of these pieces, your childhood will end. Timing was so clutch on that.
For context, viewers, the zooming in on Luigi's fist was just part of that video. That's like a Lego promotional video because all they have is photos, and so they just like Ken Burns pan and scan across it.
Kind of great.
But it just totally tied in there. Nelson wrote that coming up.
He did.
It's a man who stepped on a Lego piece or two in his time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also wrote the story about
Dynamic pricing
at Sony. Cameron wrote the story about
EA layoffs,
Yeah.
Battlefield layoff. Again, it's like the meme from, I don't even remember what show this was from, but Fred Armisen as some guy from is it from
It's from Parks and Rec. He's dressed up as
Parks and Rec.
he's dressed up as that visitor from that foreign country, but it's like a dictatorship.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like, release a game that does badly, jail. Release a game that does well, jail.
Yeah,
Release a game that's the best in your franchise and sells 7 million copies in the first 3 days. But surprisingly, also jail, right? Like,
I watched
maddening.
This is a little tangential but kind of related. I watched a video today that I assume was it was a podcast, and there was a fellow named Jeff talking. And Jeff was talking about his time at Blizzard.
Oh, yes, Jeff Kaplan. Yes, I saw this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he got called into the CFO's office and sat down, and the CFO said, Overwatch needs to make, this is in 2020, but Overwatch needs to make beep amount of dollars, which they had to bleep because of confidentiality agreements. They're not allowed to broadcast that and let the public know, right? So it's like, it has to make this much money in the next whatever season. If it fails to make this much money, we will be firing 1,000 people, and that will be on your head, Jeff. And I was just like, the CFO just outright saying, we have already decided to fire 1,000 people, and now we're coming up with a way to make it your fault.
Yeah.
It's because that's what I heard. Like, he said, oh, if you don't make this much money, we'll have to fire 1,000 people. I'm like, no, you've already made plans to fire 1,000 people, and you're looking for a way to blame somebody else for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People knew at the time that Jeff leaving, because he's literally, hey, it's Jeff from the Overwatch team, right? He was the guy he was the public face of it, really, that would do all the like dev updates and everything. And people knew when he left that it was like, oh, there must be something more to this. And clearly he was like, yeah, this place actually sucks to work at now.
How about that?
As it turns out. Did you see the button on that particular clip?
What? No. What was the...
That CFO doesn't work there anymore.
Oh, okay. I wonder why.
I wonder how much severance that CFO got. Look at all the costs I saved.
Yes. Jesus.
Just let people make things.
Yeah.
Let people make things that people enjoy.
Yeah. If you, I mean, it's funny because like, there's obviously the idea of you need to make. We get into the larger effects of when you're making a company. It's like, well, you need to have people who are providing some sort of controlling, like follow me, folks, into the whatever, right? And then, but when you start abstracting out the people who make the work from the people who are sitting on top, being like, I'm providing a plan. It's like, but you're not actually being part of the work anymore, or you're so abstracted away from the work. It's like you're making all this money and you are not a part of what's going on at this lower level. It really does start to feel like, oh, it's two completely different classes of people that are trying to accomplish shit. And it's like, right, it's no wonder there are indie teams who are like a lot flatter in organization, because they're like, everyone's trying to muck in here and do some shit.
Yeah.
Just like, here, right? You guys, both of you, muck in and do a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you wrote the Nintendo PlayStation story.
Yes.
And I wrote the epic Fortnite price increases and 4 of the QuickPoints. Nelson wrote the one for Pikmin.
Yeah.
Which, in their description, they say inspired by Pal World. So I just have like copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Exactly,
playing in my head. Like, good Lord.
I can't wait for even more Pal World clones to come out.
Oh yeah, really excited about even more Pal World. One of the other things we talked about was that Nintendo is suing the various departments of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And this came out like right after that Pocopia thing, and people were like, "Oh, they're finally getting them," because they did previously. The Pokemon company was asked about because some chud in the government social media had like shared something with like Pikachu or whatever, and so people were like, "Yo, Pokemon Company, do you stand for this or whatever?" And they had to make a statement. They felt obliged to make a statement that were like, "We don't like. We know that there have been social media posts using our thing. We don't know anything about it. We're not involved. We don't agree with it. Stop." And so then, basically the Pokopia meme happened and people were like, Nintendo has sued people for so much less than this.
Right.
And they're like notoriously litigious. Why don't they get on their ass about this? And then like a day later, it was like, Nintendo sues the U.S. government. Everyone was like, whoa. Not what it was about.
No, but somehow I agree with the part about karma coming home to roost. Where it's like,
they might be related. I don't think, because this is Nintendo of America too. This is not Nintendo. I mean, they're all the same company, but like I can't imagine that Nintendo is sitting there going like, oh man, I hate to do it to them. Like, like surely they're like, yeah, get their ass, right? Because, they're like, the Supreme Court's like, yeah, these tariffs were illegal. You got to give that money back. And the government's like, well, we won't, though. And so Nintendo's like, yes, you will.
You will.
At least to us.
Yeah.
So
I'm like I was saying this on CheckPoint, but I'm waiting for this to actually mark opening the floodgates for a lot more things. Oh, yeah. Especially for global companies that are not immediately headquartered in the United States, with them saying we're coming after this because a company in the United States might be like, oh shit, I can't really step up and do anything about this because my headquarters are here and I know I'll catch total hell for it. But I could see Nintendo Co. Ltd. In Japan saying, hey, NOA, sue them because we want our money back. And NOA would have been like, I mean, we are your sales and marketing arm. We are definitely not, we are not the headquarters, so we could do this.
We don't make games.
Yeah. Now you can do both with the same time. That's both.
You added an L.
Yeah, now you can do both.
And then, I
Oh, the thing about Sega?
where they're just like, they get reviewed really well and people really like them, but they don't sell as well. And that's why I was like, yeah, I sympathize with that, by the way. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun.
Yeah, and hit up that store if you like to wear all sorts of merchandise. It is Sonic's 30th anniversary after all, so why not buy yourself some Loading Ready Run merchandise?
Toque. Yeah. In honor of Sonic's 30th anniversary, we've launched a new Scarf and Toque bundle. That's all I have.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. See you later.
The experiment spans over 70 region.
You okay?
I have to be. Fucking, I'm awake and I'm breathing, and one of my eyes is working great. So, what more can we ask for?
The other one could be. It's just on strike.
Yeah.
The fans that we do have are all very sexy and cool.